Honored to be joined by Joe Bishop-Henchman. He is the Executive Vice President at the National Taxpayers Union Foundation. This is an organization which provides crucial, impactful research and analysis showing Americans how taxes, government spending, and regulations affect them. Obviously, we want to have Joe on to talk about the latest in the shutdown of the federal government, which I believe is raging on day 5, day 6 maybe. And is there any hope in sight to ending this thing? And what are some of the crucial sticking points that members are banding about, and what could possibly end this particular stalemate? So with that, we are honored to welcome to the broadcast the aforementioned Joe Bishop-Henchman. Joe, good to have you on the broadcast today, sir. How are you?
I'm honored to be with you, and hello from Washington, D.C.
Fantastic. Well, Joe, I just want to check in. You're in. You say you're live from Washington, D.C. Is everything still standing despite the fact the federal government is shut down? Joe Bishop-Henchman, do we know?
Everything's still standing. We've got a lot of federal employees who are friends of mine here, and privately they appreciate some paid time off. It's not paid now, but usually they'll get back pay when this all comes back, as everybody grapples with this national theater that we've got going on right now.
It is kabuki theater, yeah. That at the crux of it, that's essentially what it ends up being. Well, we do want to get to some of the sticking points that's going on. Obviously, as we've noticed when there have been previous shutdowns, both parties want to try their darndest to assign blame and maybe give their own spin on the negotiation taking forth. Joe, could you confirm or deny that this? A lot of what I've heard is funding health care for illegal aliens. Democrats deny that was an issue, and they deny that they ever wanted to bring that to the table, where Republicans have been quite adamant that has been an issue, even going back to the 2020 presidential Democrat debate, where all the candidates were raising their hands saying they'd be willing to fund illegal alien health care. Is that really the crux of the matter, Joe Bishop-Henchman?
That's about where we're at right now. So a couple of months ago, we had a previous lapse in the budget, and that was the one where Senator Schumer of the Democrats really took a lot of heat for agreeing to vote for it. And on that one, the Republicans put priorities into it, and he voted for it, got a lot of flack for it. So this time around, if you look back about a month ago, early September, and you pull news articles, Democrats are saying, what we want is a clean CR. Mm-hmm. Meaning, what they mean by that is just straight line the Biden budget numbers from this past year, because we're still operating on Biden's last budget, and, don't add anything for Republican priorities. And believe it or not, that's what the Republicans then put on the House floor and had the House pass. It's a continuation of the Biden budget numbers with no Republican priorities, because that's what the Democrats said their demand was to vote for it. And then they didn't vote for it because they say, well, we also want this other thing, which is we have these Obamacare enhanced premium tax credit, a mouthful, that's what it's called, expires at the end of this year. We don't want it to expire at the end of this year, so that's our new demand. And so that appears to be the sticking point now. Now, this tax credit, it may be news to a lot of people that this exists because not a lot of people actually take it. Right. And the money doesn't go to any individuals. The money goes to insurance companies. So insurance companies are able to enroll somebody, and then they get all of the money, and then the renewals each year are automatic. So once somebody's enrolled, they usually stay enrolled. And yes, that includes a lot of people who probably aren't eligible to be taking it, including immigrants, including people that are not low income, which is what this originally was designed for. There is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse associated with this program, and it's expensive. It would be hundreds of billions of dollars over the next couple of years if it were to be extended.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was one of the aspects I've been reading about this. You mentioned that I think it was a couple times during the Biden administration where Democrats voted to expand subsidies for the purchase of health insurance, i.e. through Obamacare, and Republicans basically, just don't have to do anything and they expire. Now, there have been some reports, and Joe, I don't know if you can confirm this or not, that Republicans are actually considering renewing these subsidies if only temporary, which if we know anything about government programs, there's really nothing temporary about expanding subsidies. Is that true, Joe?
Yeah, that is some of the discussion. Just as on the other side, there's discussion from Democrats of maybe letting it go and voting for it. So, like, both sides, kind of what they tell the press is, our caucus is united. We're in this fight to the bitter end. But behind the scenes, there is seemingly a lot of willingness to find a path forward. And for this, the path forward that the Democrats would want, obviously, would be giving in on this credit expiration, which really has nothing to do with the budget. It had nothing to do with the one big, beautiful bill. These tax credits were originally created under Obamacare in 2009, but they were capped. You could only get them if you were under 4x poverty level.
Okay.
So whatever poverty level is times 4, you could get them. Under Biden, they removed that cap and removed a lot of the restrictions and made them more generous. And they said at the time that would just be temporary for the pandemic. And as you said, here we are now, and this temporary pandemic thing, the fight is, do we continue? Do we make it permanent? Even though it's really drifted from the original purpose, which was to help people up to 4x poverty level buy health insurance if they don't get it through their employer.
Sure. Well, from a political standpoint, I'm just curious, and I don't know if you've heard any rumblings about this. What would be the Republicans' incentive for continuing in this? Because this is certainly something that they were dogged with for quite some time when they got the trifecta in 2017 and didn't pass any kind of repeal when John McCain, late Senator John McCain, ended up getting cold feet, essentially. And to completely not only renege on that, seems like 4 election cycle campaign promise to actually extend it. Have you got any indication, Joe, as what would be the incentive to do that other than, I don't know, Democrats not calling them mean names? I just don't understand that aspect of it.
On the policy, there really is no incentive for them to give in on this because it's bad, but you're not going to find anybody who thinks it's good policy. Even Bernie Sanders says, I don't like this. I'd much rather go to universal health care, but I'm going to vote for it because this is better than that, better than nothing. But nobody really thinks this is ideal. Obamacare was designed, was very problematic. It requires increasing subsidies and it distorts markets, and this is just more happening as a result of that. But what does matter here is perception, I think, to people in Washington, D.C.,
sure,
to all the members of Congress and the senators and even the president. If it becomes... So this is all kind of a blame game now. And if people here feel like I'm getting blamed for this shutdown and people don't like it and people are going to be upset at me, then they're going to be more willing to negotiate. So everybody's watching very closely all of these polls coming out on, like, who do you blame for the shutdown? Do you blame the Republicans or do you blame the Democrats? And it's why everyone's trying to shape the narrative on this. So Republicans are talking about immigration. Democrats are talking about healthcare. They're both, it's all kind of true, but they're trying to present it in a way that will get public opinion on their side because ultimately that's going to decide who prevails in this.
I was perusing your organization's website, and one of the pieces that was penned recently, and something that I had talked about on this broadcast in the last month or two, is there is kind of a workaround if Congress doesn't pass any substantive or any meaningful spending cuts. There was a way to do that under the Impoundment Control Act, where basically the president put forth a rescission package saying, "Hey, here's some expenses some costs we'd like to be cut." I know President Trump put something forth in late August, and I believe Congress had, I think, typically 45 days to respond to that. Can you give us an update on that, Joe? Has there been anything that is put through that is allowed to be cut? Do we know?
Yeah, they did one package. It was about $7 billion. Just to put that in context, the budget is $7 trillion, so another 3 zeros on it. And where we're at in our fiscal situation is we're spending, as the federal government is spending $7 trillion a year. It's bringing in $5 trillion in taxes. And so every year we're putting another $2 trillion on the national credit card, growing the national debt by that amount, which is $37 trillion. So it's not a great fiscal situation. It does not really seem sustainable in the long term, maybe even in the medium term, and we really do have to do something about it. And one tool is, as you just mentioned, rescission packages, where we pass a budget, but the president can go later to Congress and say, this spending here, I don't think it's a priority. I think we should cut it. And Congress has a certain period of time to agree or disagree with that. It's an interesting mechanism that was created in the 1970s, has not been utilized since the 1990s until a couple of weeks ago when the president did his first rescission package that ultimately Congress passed. So that was the thinking in this town was that was kind of a building muscle memory thing to, it was a small package,
right,
but it was designed to see whether or not we could even do it anymore. We were able to, so we may see more to come.
Once again, we've been joined by Joe Bishop-Henchman. Again, he the Executive Vice President at the National Taxpayers Union Foundation. Check out their fine work at NTU.org and keep tabs on everything regarding this shutdown and fiscal policy. So very, very informative website. I've enjoyed it a lot. Joe, we appreciate the time today. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your weekend, and appreciate the time.
Anytime. Same to you.
AM 1280 The Patriot, Northern Alliance Radio.